Today we are going to be talking about multiplying fractions, and specifically we're going to be looking at multiplying positive and negative fractions. So we need to remember our integer rules for multiplying and dividing. Well, when we multiply or divide a positive and a positive, we get a positive. When we multiply a negative by a negative, we also get a positive. And when we have, doesn't matter the order here, positive multiplied by a negative or vice versa, negative multiplied by a positive, we get a negative. So when you have two are the same, they're positive. When you have two opposites, they are negative. So, step one, when we are multiplying fractions, is we need to simplify the numbers that are diagonal from each other. You can use a factor chart if needed. Then we're going to multiply the numerators and denominators. Don't multiply first, okay? And I'll talk about this down here, but like for example here, multiplying 30 and 24 or 44 and 75 and then trying to simplify is crazy obnoxious, okay? So let's look at number one. These are just fractions. I don't need to make them into mixed numbers, so I am going to look at those diagonals first. So if you want to highlight along with me, we're going to look at these two sets of diagonals. 4 and 10, their greatest common factor is 2. They both divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Our other diagonal, 3 and 27, they both divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Now I can multiply across our simplified expressions. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 9 is 18. Now we need to look. It was a negative times a negative, which is a positive result. Okay, let's look at number 2. Right here, I don't see a multiplication sign. We have parentheses and the numbers next to each other, which tells me that we are multiplying. That's another way to represent that. Like I said, we're not multiplying across and then simplifying. I get that it might have been a little bit easier over here to do 3 times 10 to get 30 and so on and simplify after. This is not going to be fun if you try to do that. You're not going to be able to finish the test in time if you try to do it this way. So we are looking at our diagonals. Let's look at that first diagonal. 24 and 44. What do they both divide by? Well, they both divide by 2. We could do that. But an even bigger number that they both divide by is 4. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. 44 divided by 4 is 11. If you had divided by 2, you would have gotten 12 and 22, and then you would have seen that those can simplify further. Now let's look at our other diagonal. 30 and 75. Well, they end in 0 and 5, so I know I'm going to check 5. They do both divide by 5. They actually divide by a bigger number than that. They divide by 15. 30 divided by 15 is 2. 75 divided by 15 is 5. Again, if we had first simplified by 5, we would have gotten 6 and we would have gotten 15. And then we'd realize those simplify even more. Now I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 6 is 12. Over 11 times 5 is 55. And a negative times a positive is a negative. If you had tried to multiply first, you would have gotten, let's see, 30 times 24 is 720 over 44 times 75, which is 3,300. And I don't know about you, I wouldn't want to have to go about simplifying that. All right, let's flip over to the back. Now we're looking at not just fractions, but we are looking at mixed numbers. So when we are multiplying mixed numbers, we need to make them improper first. So I'm going to convert. When I'm making it improper, I'm ignoring my negative sign. I'm not doing like negative 4 times 8 is negative 32 plus 1 is negative 31. No. Ignore the sign first as we convert. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 1 is 33 over 8. So we have negative 33 over 8 times, and then over here, 1 times 11 is 11, plus 7 is 18 over 11. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to simplify. Let's look at our first diagonal here. 8 and 18, they are both even. They both divide by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Let's look at our other diagonal. 33 and 11. Yes, 11 is prime, but 11 divides by 11, and so does 33. So 11 divided by 11 is 1. 33 divided by 11 is 3. Now we can multiply across. 3 times 9 is 27. That's a whole lot easier than doing 33 times 18. And then 4 times 1 is 4. You can leave your answer as 27 over 4. Well, first let's check. Negative times a positive is a negative. If you want to convert that to an to a mixed number, that's fine too. 4 goes into 27 6 times with 3 left over. So negative 6 3/4. All right, and then the last one. First thing we're doing, we are making it into an improper fraction. 5 times 9 is 45, plus 4 is 49 over 9, and it's negative, times 1 times 14 is 14, plus 1 is 15 over 14, and it's negative. Now, let's look at our diagonals. 9 and 15, they both divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Let's look at 49 and 14. Maybe not as commonly seen together, but I know that 49 divides by 7, so I'm going to check, does 14 divide by 7? Yes. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 49 divided by 7 is 7. Now I can multiply across. 7 times 5 is 35. Over 3 times 2 is 6. Negative times a negative is a positive. We can leave it as this improper fraction if you would like. Otherwise, 6 goes into 35 5 times to get to 30 with 5 left over. So either of those would be accepted.